General manager for the Detroit Tigers, a team I am extremely excited about for the 2024 MLB season. I'll most likely be on their overs. Aram, on BetMGM, division odds opened up, and the Tigers have a better line in terms of it's not as juicy as the Cleveland Guardians.
So you're saying Vegas thinks it's more likely that the Tigers win the division than the Guardians?
Exactly.
Wow.
Which I was hoping for value this year from the Tigers, and I think the books are catching up to me. They already know. They're like, Peter,
Yeah.
you want to bet on the Tigers? All right, we're going to give you shit prices. And that's not a bet MGM thing. That is across all books. Books are high on this Detroit Tigers team, and I am very excited to go through them. But first, let's talk about what the offseason already was. Became free agents Eduardo Rodriguez, Matthew Boyd, Spencer Turnbull, Austin Meadows, Jose Cisnero, Garrett Hill, and then our GOAT, Miguel Cabrera, ended up retiring. But they did bring in some reinforcements. They signed Kenta Maeda, Shelby Miller, Jack Flaherty, and Andrew Chafin. And they traded for Mark Canha for relief prospect Blake Holub. Their active payroll is $75 million, but the projected payroll for this season is about $104 million. Now, we're not going to sign the big time free agents, right? They have Parker Meadows in center field. You know what we should do? Sign Cody Bellinger. No, we operate within what we think the Tigers are going to do, and within their means, we try and make this team better. But I think we can make this team a lot better. Maybe not a lot better, but definitely better by not spending that much money. So let's go through each position and see how we can improve. And we'll start in center field with Parker Meadows. Aram, is this really going to be the center fielder that they start opening day with? Because in the outfield, they do have Canha, they do have Riley Green. You got Andy Ibanez, you got Nick Maton, you got Tyler Nevin, all guys who can play the outfield. And of course, you still have Veerling and McKinstry who are now playing in the infield, but also can play the outfield. Is Parker Meadows the answer for the Detroit Tigers in 2024?
That's a great question. And I think that's something that they don't know either.
Yeah,
And this is the year to find out. What's interesting is I think Riley Green is passable in center, but I
me
can
too.
understand just wanting to keep him healthy, put him in a corner. Meadows has earned the opportunity to get a look. I mean, he's put up some pretty solid numbers, and he can run. He can hit the ball pretty hard, especially to the pull side. He draws a fair amount of walks. I don't know if he's going to hit enough at the big league level. Like we'll see. I think he can, and again, I think he's earned that opportunity, and they need to kind of know what they've got. But, you know, you're starting the season with a question mark there. I think he's good enough to justify the question mark, especially where when you look at it, if Meadows struggles, okay, you slide Green over to center, and let's say you send Meadows back to AAA, then you could just put Kerry Carpenter in a corner. You could kind of get creative. You could put Veerling in a corner. You could call up Colt Keith and put him at third or second, move McKinstry around. It helps that the two guys that are holding the infield spots, which we'll talk about in a second, are able to move around. But I think Meadows deserves a look in the beginning of the year. I do.
I agree with you. Looking at the roster, just at face value, I said I would love to add a Michael A. Taylor to the fold. It's a big outfield. I would love a defensive minded guy to be back there, some sort of veteran. But then after talking to you before and kind of going through it, you have a lot of outfield options. You also have a Riley Green who can move over to center field, bring up a guy like Cole Keith, who I think could make an impact this season.
Oh yeah.
And you're going to, and then what are you going to do with Veerling and McKinstry? So I think it's worth it to just kind of stand pat at
Hmm.
that position and see what Parker Meadows has, because there's a reason that the 24-year-old is projected to be the starting center fielder. He's no idiot, right? He's not some dumpster. This guy can
No.
play, and I'd be excited to see him. I don't mind giving him a shot, and if he struggles, you're gonna have to make some moves. The thing is, they can make moves here.
And you're still in that position where it's like, okay, you see where they're headed. You know that they're going to be pretty good this year compared to what we're used to, but it's still like let's find out what we've got with our pieces. Let's see how the farm system continues to develop, and just use this as a year that, okay, if we have a Reds type year where we are ahead of schedule, that's great, but we're not going to just push all the chips forward here. We're going to kind of stay on course and see if we can build something sustainably good, and I think they can. And the way Meadows performs will kind of help them figure that out. He did put up a win. He's a 1-win player in 37 games in his big league debut last year. So, I think that's more than enough reason to see what he can do now.
Couldn't agree with you more. All right, let's keep it moving. Right field, Riley Green. Ain't touching you, buddy.
Hell no.
Neither, and we're not touching Spencer Torkelson either. These are the guys that you build around. Kerry Carpenter, no shot I'm touching him. Kerry Carpenter is one of the most underrated hitters in Major League Baseball. The guy slashed 278, 340, 471 slugging percentage with 20 bombs and 6 steals in 459 plate appearances. Lefty, masher, 26 years old. This is a guy Tigers fans should be really excited about. And if you're watching this and you're a diehard Tigers fan, you already know. I'm more speaking to the new fans. People who want to maybe buy into the Tigers a little bit, or just general baseball fans, fantasy baseball fans. Write down the name Kerry Carpenter. He could help you win your league. I think he's got more upside in the bat than he already showed last year.
Oh, he's gonna put. I think he's gonna hit 30 bombs this coming year. I really do.
Wouldn't be shocked. Left field, we got Mark Canha, who they acquired. It's fine. Solid. That'd be one of the moves that we would recommend for them if we were doing this a couple of months ago.
Literally.
It would literally be that. So good move. Matt Vierling is going to be your third baseman. I have a trade that I want to do, but to get a third baseman, and I think people on the show know kind of what I'm talking about, but I really want to hammer it home. So we'll just put Matt Vierling there for now. Second base, Zach McKinstry again. We'll put him there for now. And then you got freaking Javier Baez, arguably the worst player on the team. I was making about $1 trillion at short, and you got Jake Rogers at catcher. The catching tandem is Carson Kelly and Jake Rogers. I don't think we're going to touch that.
No, Rogers is also underrated. That guy had 21 homers last year and 365 plate appearances. Like, that's crazy. And he has a fire mustache. So
yeah,
I'm in on Rogers. And Kelly's been better through spurts. He's been hurt a lot, but that's a fine backup.
We were ranking, or right now we're going through all of our top 15s for every position, and like Jake Rogers he's a conversation in the top 15.
He's not at the bottom, for sure.
No, he is not. No, he is not. So when we're looking through this team right now, I would like to add a third baseman. And it's not because I think Matt Vierling is not a good player. It's just when you look at the positions that Matt Vierling has played, he's excelled because he can kind of play wherever. 58 games in right, 41 games in left, 35 games at third, 31 games in center, and 1 game at second base. I think Matt Vierling is extremely valuable when you get to put him in kind of any position you want, give guys some rest days instead of just making him your starting third baseman, because he just doesn't have a lot of games at third under his belt. And then you can then move him to second or move him to the outfield or just kind of place him wherever you want and go get Isaac Paredes from the Tampa Bay Rays. I think that's the trade that they make, and add that right-handed bat in this lineup. And it's not going to be crazy expensive. So I wanted to talk you through some prospects that they could send for Isaac Paredes. But before I do you think that's the move they should make, or do you think they don't need to?
I would stand pat personally, because I just think they have so many things to figure out. So they have Justin Henry Malloy in AAA, who got on base at over a 400 clip, plays third base and outfield. They may want to see what he can do. He played the whole year in AAA. And then Keith is a second baseman, I think, most likely, but also plays a little bit of third. I think ultimately Keith should make this opening day roster and play second. McKinstry should be kind of third base bench, move him wherever. My only thing is, like, if you're still trying to figure out where you're at and everything, like, are they going to want to give up prospects right now? And I don't know. I would probably want to see what's going on a little bit more with my core before I like cash in prospects. But I would love to see them go get an all-star third baseman, but I don't know. I just don't know if I see them cashing in, on prospects right now when they're trying to kind of finally build a sustainable winner.
What if you centered around Justin Henry Malloy and then another prospect in order to get Paredes, right? If we're talking about he's maybe coming up, you get a guaranteed, I know it's going to be more than that, but you centered around him, add a couple more pieces who maybe you don't factor into your future, and you get Isaac Paredes.
It would have to start at least with Jace Young. So, I mean, if you did like Jace Young and Justin Henry Malloy, I mean, you could probably get you pretty close to that.
Would you do that
Might
if
get
you're the
close.
Tigers? I mean, I definitely consider it. Now, that's pretty expensive for Isak Paredes. I don't know if it would
He's,
take both of those guys. Do you think it would?
he's the 4-1 player with years of control.
True.
I think he's really I think Paredes is going to require a bit of a haul. Um, it's also why I don't know if the Rays trade him now. I think the Rays also don't end up moving anybody, especially now with the Wander situation where it's at. Going to get Caballero. I think they're allegedly shopping Harold. If they're shopping Harold, are they also going to move Isak Paredes? I don't know.
But can you at least I was figuring when I heard that report that they're kind of shopping everybody just to see what they could get, right? They shopping Paredes, they're shopping Randy, they're shopped Glass now away. I feel like they're just shopping and kind of seeing what
They're always shopping.
they're always shopping, exactly. So it's like all these guys are just up in the air. How much do you want to pay for them? And if the Tigers come in and say we're going to give you Jace Young and Justin Henry Malloy, and the Rays say we're going to need you to add, a lower level pitcher. I mean, the Tigers get objectively better there, and they're trading away pieces that might factor in, might not. They already
Yeah,
have,
I mean, I
right?
know
You're looking at the prospects right now. You got Colt Keith. You just drafted Kevin McGonigal. You have Hao Yu Lee, who they got from Michael Lorenzen. You got a couple of these infield prospects, and you already have infielders on the roster.
I mean, look, I would love it. I don't think they do it. I think they're going to be super cautious, but I think it's reasonable enough for us to do it. And I'm not a big Jace Young fan. So like personally, I would cash in on Jace Young. He had a great year. He had 28 bombs between high A and double A, but he's defensively limited. I saw him in the AFL. He's a guy that's it's going to be all about the power that he gets into in games, and he's going to be playing second base or like a meh third. I feel like you've got a better version of that in Colt Keith. So I could happily justify trading Jace Young. I like Kevin McGonigal, as you mentioned, better as a prospect. He's a top 100 guy for us. Jace Young is either not or right behind him. Um, yeah, you'd have to probably throw in one more arm, like a lower level arm. So can't Tigers fans will freak out if you trade Kaiser Montero. So anybody but Kaiser Montero. But yeah, I think they could throw in an arm, and put something together there. Maybe like a Troy Melton. I know
Sure.
fans like Melton too, but yeah, throw in Troy Melton.
What about Dylan Smith? I don't know anything about Dylan
He's
Smith.
not
Third
very good.
rounder,
You get there. Yeah, maybe they
2021.
could fix Dylan Smith.
Give him
Um,
Dylan Smith.
okay. Jace Young, Justin Henry Malloy, and Dylan Smith. It fits.
It fits, right? And we got to pretend we are Scott Harris. So you are Scott Harris. You're not a big fan of Chase Young. So you're trading him and Justin Henry Malloy and a lower level pitcher. And you're getting back Isak Paredes, who's not expensive, years of control, and is straight up just a good ass player and makes your team much better. And then you could put Veerling, McKinstry, you could do whatever the hell you want with them. I think we got to do it.
I don't hate it at all. Especially because of Colt Keith's presence. Like Colt Keith is just so much better. So yeah, I'm in. Send it in. I would rather do that. I think the prospect hugging that these teams do when they're in rebuild mode is a little bit silly because what if Jace Young gets to triple now and struggles, or you bring him up to the big leagues and he struggles, and Colt Keith is better and he's already kind of not fitting in, and now you have a Michael Busch situation where he's not worth as much as he was when he was dominating in Double A and younger. So it's not the worst idea. I don't think it's a bad idea. I just feel like teams don't do it because they're weird about it. Like look at the Orioles. So I'm in though. Let's do it. Let's try to change the tides.
I agree.
And I know you've wanted Peretti on the Tigers more than you've wanted any player on the Yankees in a while. So let's send it in. And if those are like, oh, he was a Tiger before, not Scott Harris's Tigers. Scott Harris wasn't the one that gave up on him. He was also a Cub before. The Cubs would happily trade for him too. Doesn't matter if he was on the team before, unless it was like a year ago with the same front office.
And if you're the Rays, that's a pretty good haul. Like it's not like you're getting nothing for him. Like if you're a Rays fan hearing like, okay, like we could do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jace Young, that's a guy that I think would replace Brandon Lau. Assuming Lau is probably going to hit free agency, and I doubt they keep him. Justin Henry Malloy gets on base at a 400 clip, can help them this coming year. Can play the outfield, can play third, can play first, and then maybe they get a Dylan Smith or somebody else, and they can maximize that arm a little bit. I don't mind it at all. And also Henry Malloy is big league ready. So you can plug him in at third, you can plug Mead in at third, you can plug, obviously Caminero in at third, who's going to be playing third. But again, it's just insurance policies. You got pieces there.
I think the offseason is over, at least for the offense for the Tigers. I think that's it,
Yeah,
right? Unless you want to sign anybody right now on their bench, Carson Kelly, Andy Ibanez, Nick Maton, and Tyler Nevin. I don't think we got to add anything.
that's fine.
But
They're
they
going
have
to call
prospects
guys
coming up.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rotation is fascinating. And I think they already made all of their moves, but we can go through it. Tarek Skubal, who is a beast. As long as he stays
Yep.
healthy, this guy could be one of the better left-handed pitchers in Major League Baseball. He was that good. When he came up, dominated, gets hurt a little bit. He only threw about 80 innings last year because he was hurt. Pitched to a 2.8 ERA with 102 strikeouts. Now, Jack Flaherty, them adding him, I don't hate it. I mean, who
No, I don't
knows?
hate it at all.
Maybe in a huge ballpark, he could be effective. Is he going to be
Mhm.
great? Probably not. Is he going to be effective? I think he could be.
That's fine. Yeah.
And he's not a bad guy to just have there because they have so many options, right? You have Reese Olson, you have Matt Manning. Of course, you just signed Kenta Maeda, but they have so many pitchers in the pipeline, right? If we're talking about Casey Mize, if we're talking about Alex Faedo, like these are all guys. Now, a lot of them are hurt. Are they going to factor in? But you still have them. And then, not to mention, in terms of prospects, right? Like we could talk about Jackson Jobe, right? I don't know if
I
he's
mean,
going to
I
be
think
up
Job
this
could get
year.
up this year. Wilmer Flores, I think he's more of a reliever swingman, but that's a guy that should be ready to go this year. Sawyer Gibson Long looked good.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
the big leagues last year. That's another arm.
Ty
Kyler
Madden.
Montero, as I mentioned earlier, it's a guy that should be getting an opportunity relatively soon. They got a lot of options. Like we're talking about the wait and see, figure out what you've got. Perfect example of that. Let's audition as many guys as we can here. And again, like if they're not in contention, you're gonna flip already. You already got your flippable guys, right? Like Flaherty's your flippable guy. Maeda's your flippable guy. That's all they need. Anything more, you're gonna kind of block out the opportunity to see what a Matt Manning, Reese Olson, Casey Mize when healthy, and all these other guys, can do. So I think they're perfect rotation wise.
What
It's
about
not great, but it can be fine. And they need to find out what they've got with these youngins.
a guy that I loved in college? I mean, is Ty Madden going to make an impact this season for the Tigers?
Very possible. And I think he's a really high floor, solid back end of the rotation guy, super smart pitcher, pounds the strike zone. That's another guy that could fit right in. So yeah, they got so many options now.
And not to mention they have Joey Wentz too, who had a 6.9 ERA and 105 innings. But like
There's a
there
lot of
was some
innings to
games
have
where
that
I bet on
ERA.
him, and there was some games where I bet on Joey Wentz, and went 5 innings, 2 runs. I'm just saying that's in his bag, arm.
Dude. I mean, to have a 6.9 ERA and over 100 innings, they're giving you repeated opportunities.
Yeah, there's something
They
there.
see something.
So they have them. The bullpen, I think, is just straight up good. Alex Lang is a stud, and I love how the Tigers, every offseason, or I mean, during the middle of the trade line when they're not that good, it's like we're just mocking all these Tigers relievers, all these different teams. They never trade them. They're like, no, fuck
Neither.
you. We
They
ain't
didn't trade
trading.
anybody.
They didn't trade anybody. But they do have Alex Lang. They got Jason Foley, who was a beast last year, 2.61 ERA in 69 innings. Will Vest, a beast, 2.98 ERA in 48 innings. Andrew Chafin, like, you just kind of like to have that guy in the Tigers. I feel like he's been on the
Yeah.
Tigers like 9 different times, and he's just a Tiger. He's a Tiger. He had a 4.73 ERA last year, whatever. He's a Tiger. Shelby Miller, one of the most underrated signings of this offseason. Dude was unbelievable with the Dodgers. 1.71 ERA in 42 innings. And they get him, and it's like nobody noticed. Good signing. Good signing, Scott Harris. And then they have Tyler Holton, who was great for them last year. 2.11 ERA in 85 innings. Now, is it going to last? I don't know. Strikeouts aren't really there, but whatever. He's good. Miguel Diaz, 0.64 ERA in 14 innings. And then, of course, you have Joey Wentz. We don't need to add anything. We can for fun, right? Because we haven't spent any money. So it's like we could add another reliever here. And I think an easy add for this team, get in like kind of a veteran-esque guy. You have a couple lefties, so I think you're okay there, so we don't have to get a lefty. Why don't you guys be the team to go get Phil Maton?
Yeah. Why not build like just a nasty pen?
Yeah.
Just build like this strong, almost super pen. So with the volatility of your younger, rotation arms that you're gonna have, you can weather the storm. I think the team's gonna put up some runs. I'm cool with the Maton. I was also thinking, yeah, I mean, yeah, they don't really need a bench infielder because again, when you call a guy up like Keith, you're gonna relegate one of McKinstry or Veerling to the bench, and the bench becomes better. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think just go get Maton. Now make this a super pen. Let's weirdly have a good Tigers bullpen. I think that could be what ends up making them compete. Is just decent rotation, decent lineup, really good bullpen,
How about
and a good
this?
home field advantage.
Astros didn't get Robert Stevenson. Why don't we get him?
That would be fun. Yeah, and if you suck, you just flip them.
If you suck, you flip them. They won't suck though. They're going to be good. I genuinely think this team is going to finish 500 or above. I think we got 83, 84 wins here on our hands with potential for more.
Let's get Robert Stevenson.
Robert Stevenson, welcome to the Detroit Tigers. Welcome to the Juggernaut Tigers. And the reason I'm being so hyperbolic is because this is the team. I mean, we do this kind of every year, and we've been great. Diamondbacks last year, Orioles the year before. Like, we have been good in identifying some of these young teams. Are you with me on the Tigers, or am I kind of on my own here?
No, I'm with you on this one. I see the same thing you're saying.
Right?
Because when I look at these teams, I'm like, I try to imagine what the bad scenario looks like. And the bad scenario is generally like, okay, one or two guys go down in the rotation. Oh my gosh, it drops off. But again, like they have a laundry list of guys that could just plug in, see if it works. And again, the offense is only going to get better. And the bullpen's the best it's been since we've done the Just Baseball show. So, I mean, I think this in a weak division, I think this team can hang around.
This team finished second in the American League Central. They finished above the Guardians, and they didn't have Skubal for most of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy.
They didn't have Maeda
My only
either.
concern is like, who's their two is like, I guess Kenta Maeda, but like whatever. They're 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are also all like kind of similar. So it works.
Yeah, exactly. Like every day, every game, if it's not Tarik Skubal, who I think shoves, I think he's got an outside shot to win the Cy Young. Really, he's that good.
I think he's that good. I think he's insane too, but that's...
I know. I think so highly of him. He's not that different from Cole Reagans. He really isn't.
No.
He's great. And then you have a bunch of guys, like you don't have a 2, but you don't have dog shit either. Like I feel like everybody outside of Skubal is going to give you 5 innings, 3 runs. Can you score 4? And can you shut it down after? I think you can.
Yeah.
That's why I see 83, 84 wins in this team's future. We can't. And then, like, who knows? Maybe get in the playoffs. Probably not. But, like, who knows? Diamondbacks literally won 84 games, got in the playoffs, and went to the World Series.
You never know.
You never know. So that was the Detroit Tigers.